So, I mean, Sam was just such a promising, talented young athlete from such a young age. And yeah, Sam.
Wooden floors, walls and windowsills.
And it was just terrific. A day out at Mentone, and he flew for a mark. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Jack Dunstan from a really young age, and just that sort of ability to read the play and run and be agile, and it's a wonderful kick. And he just flew for one, and he came down, and his leg was at right angles, not dissimilar to a really ordinary cheese twisty, to be honest. And I thought that was it. I mean, halfway through year 11, I thought, Reece Palmer took 18 months, Barlow 18 months. I mean, I just thought that would be it. But he got back in 5, which is just remarkable, really. To get back in 5 months and play a full season of cricket and then a full season of footy. And it's just never quite the same.
Yeah, so growing up, I was a pretty eager boy to play footy. I played with my dad and my brother at the local park, and then eventually moved to Canterbury Footy Ground and played 2 seasons there. And I think a few years later I went and played Q Rovers with a few good mates of mine, and yeah, footy looked really promising for me, and the journey was starting to become a realisation that maybe this could be what I want to do when I'm older. So eventually I stuck at it and I kept grinding, and then it all just went from there.
What happened on May 4th, Sam?
Yeah, so May the 4th is a dark day for me and my footy journey. It was round 1 of the football season, fresh winter's morning, and I remember it was the 3rd quarter, and I went down to take a huge mark, and I kind of got to the point where I went too high, and on the land down, my leg just snapped and I felt the pain straight away. I remember looking down on the way that my ankle had just gone to a right degree angle, and I was like, oh no. And my worst fear had been realised that I've just snapped my leg in half.
What were your initial thoughts when you first saw the injury?
Probably the absolutely most, seriously, just sick and twisted thing I've ever seen. It was absolutely horrible.
It was really devastating seeing Sam go down with such a horrible injury, especially as captain. You don't want to see any of the troops go down, and it really left a mark on or a stain, I should say, on the rest of the group. And I was surprised, to be honest, that he was really even able to come back to walking, and let alone playing footy again.
Yeah, so I remember a few teammates came over to check if I was alright, and the whole body just went cold. And I remember my mum and dad coming over, and they were pretty shocked, and they tried to call an ambulance. And it was about 20 minutes until I could have some sort of pain relief. And before that, I was just holding on to the grass because it's all that I had. And then my coach, Mr. Beck, came over to check if I was alright. And obviously he was pretty shocked at what happened to the certain degree of the injury. And he just felt really sorry for me and how it was all played out. Yeah, the day after surgery and the following week after was really hard. My parents had to do everything for me. So I got home, I was stuck on a rental hospital bed in my back room. My parents had to give me food, water, Mum had to bring me everything. It was just really hard, and to be honest, to a certain degree, my self-dignity was lost at that time. Emotionally, I wasn't there. Physically, I wasn't there. And to a certain degree, I was still very heartbroken from certain issues that happened at the start of the year. And it just wasn't my year, and I was very close to throwing in the towel and calling it quits because I just wasn't in a very bright place at the time. Yeah, so come September holidays, which is about 3 months after the injury, I put a goal to myself to get up at 5:30 every morning in the holidays, which is what I did, and I did that to shorten my time on the sidelines so I could be ready for the season of cricket, and eventually it paid dividends as my ankle started to rehab a lot better. I started to get a lot of range back in the motion, and eventually I was allowed to start doing full running and embrace full contact, and eventually I could play cricket. So throughout the cricket season, I found myself balancing with Oakley football training sessions for the pre-season, and I obviously did that with Jack Heinsohn as well. So we both had the cricket program and the footy program, and we were both in a position where we had to make a choice whether we wanted to do one or the other.
So when it came to that point in time where we had to make the decision, I mean, it was pretty obvious that Sam was going to choose football. He was one of the most talented players on Oakley's list, and he had everything going for him. Yeah, and he had so much potential, and I mean, that's why the injury was probably so devastating. I still remember the day. It kind of haunts me in a sense. And I wasn't playing, unfortunately. I sustained an injury and I was at home. And I got a text after the game from one of my mates and said, "Did you hear about Sam Carroll?" And I said, "No." And he replied and he's like, "Yeah, he's gone down. He's broken his ankle." And my first thought was, is he ever going to walk again?
So eventually I chose to take the path of Oakley, which ultimately led to me missing out in the cricket grand final. But yeah, I think the decision that I made was very beneficial and gave me a lot of opportunities going forward for football. So during my physiotherapy sessions last year, I had a physiotherapist who happened to also be a model manager, and he saw something in me, so he thought he'd give me an opportunity to go have a few photo shoots, and eventually that led to me being signed by a management company called SAS. And SAS must have seen something, and now I've got a few shoots coming up, and I think I'll be in a Qantas ad, which should be exciting. Looking back, I was very grateful for all the help that I received. Friends, family, at school, all my mates helped me out, getting around up and downstairs, everything, getting food. And yeah, I was just really thankful that I had that support behind me, and knowing that if something like this happens again, that I'll always be backed to the hills and I can always come back from it and nothing's impossible.